us an update on the Bad River Estuary mapping project. All right, Faith, take it away.
I have my video on, but I'm going to turn it off. So hello, everyone. So this project started in 2020. We really didn't get off till 2021 though, with COVID and some staffing issues. It was funded out of the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, the focal area 2 on coastal and specifically on littoral projects. And it was coming off of the extreme flood events and high water. And the goal was to look at how we had the interaction of flooding and sedimentation in the estuary. So in that river to lake interaction, and how that related to habitat, specifically for this was lake sturgeon, but just how did these climatic variations, how are they affecting habitat? And so this project kind of gets at some of the building blocks for better understanding that aspect of things. And it's been boosted by interaction with funding from the Bad River tribe, as well as it helped us to expand things. And so it's basically a mapping and a monitoring combination of a project. And today I'll just look at some of our recent monitoring data. So next slide there. So here's the setup. So this is the Bad or Mashpee Kakagan estuary. I didn't have an overview slide for this for Lake Superior in general, but one of the things is the Kakagan on the left discharges to the Chequamegon Bay, and then the Bad River on the right by that number 10 there, that's the mouth of the Bad, discharges to Lake Superior. So two different mouth environments between the two. The red dots are where we have water level recorders, and then the black circles are where we have velocity meters. And we also have one at the Bad River at Highway 2, that's number 4 as well. And so what we're kind of looking at is these upstream, downstream effects of how the SAICH and the floods are interacting. One of the things with these is we're kind of testing the extremes with them, leaving them out during the winter. And then also, we're going through a period of a relatively fast drop along with the SAICHs and the surges. So like we have like a 3-foot drop. So how do we, sensor wise, do the best in being able to monitor that situation. And then in the next couple slides, I'll look at a couple of events and kind of zoom in on 4 of our monitoring locations. So the mouth sites, we'll go back for a second. I'm just going to show where these are at before I dive into these very detailed monitor. I don't know, can you go back or not? Yep. So number 10, Bad Mouth, to number 4, Bad at Highway 2, and then over on the Kakagan side, at number 6 to number 5. All right, thanks. And so one of the things, if you remember, in beginning of January was that big storm surge we had, and it was kind of seemed like a unique event. Yeah, I could go on to slide 3 there, where we had the winter freeze up. So we had ice jams, and we picked that up, and you can see the Bad at the mouth and Bad at Highway 2 after January 5th. So we had increases in the stage from the ice jam, and then also the backwater that built up behind that. So the water levels rose at Highway 2 at just about 2 feet at that point. The Kakagan was affected a little bit, but not as much, again, because of the difference in where the mouths are located. And we know that the relative elevation, about 604 feet altitude, is where the 2 rivers can connect through the middle of the sluice. So we're kind of looking for like, do these connect or not? So that's kind of how we're putting in the hydrologic, the water level information relative to the landforms. Okay, next slide. And you can also see in these are how jaggedy the data are. That's representing the seiches. So there's a lot of variability in the water levels that's going on. Yep, thanks, Matt. And so here's for the spring thaw, showing the bad and the Kakagan again, with the brown for the bad, the blue for the Kakagan, and the interaction and difference amongst the two rivers. And this has just happened a couple weeks ago. And so we've kind of reached the stages where the two are hydrologically connected. And then the next slide is the last one, just a picture of what we're getting from the velocity meter at the Kakagan. This is showing the magnitude on the left, and then also the colors represented of the backscattered, which represents what kind of material is in the water. So we're seeing that we're getting some kind of sediment input come into the Kakagan, and then might even be getting sediment laden water from the Bad River at April 13th. So we can use the velocity and then also the backscatter to help see what's going on with the flood and sediment dynamics. So that's a little picture of things. And with that, I'll end, and we'll be around for questions later.
Great, thanks a lot, Faith. Wish we could see more right now. There's